Well, look at this. We're on Maidan Konstitutsy, and the famous Piana Vishnia is closed on New Year's Eve. Granted, it's not quite as gloomy as last New Year, and Kharkiv has been well restored, although a little bit of regression 2 nights ago, given that 45 missiles struck the city, including 3 on our kitchen, on World Central Kitchen, that is. But yeah, Nikolsky Mall closed, and it's reopened, which was one of the shocking things that I've encountered here over the past year. You know, I came here expecting it to be Stalingrad when I got out here last year. Last year meaning 2022, obviously. Although in a few hours ago, last year will simply be 2022. And the new last year will be this very odd fucking annum that's just elapsed. And yeah, this is the very centre of the city, and there's almost nary a soul in sight. A few cars passing by, but considering how bustling and how thriving this area was even 2.5 months ago, before my military journey began, I went to Kyiv and to Azov, and all that's elapsed thereafter, all that's transpired in this unmerciful monkey farm of Absurdistan. Oh look, people laughing and smiling. I mean, that's bizarre. Maybe, well, hope springs eternal in the breast of a legionnaire. I'm partly hopeful that, you know, that perhaps people are inside for Piana Vishnia. Not that there's much room to accommodate. I mean, it's a tiny, narrow little strip of a bar. I've got a feeling that, yeah, much like all the establishments of Bethlehem a couple of thousand years ago, yep, no room at the inn. And the air raid alarm. I mean, it always feels slightly sarcastic here, because you've got, what, 30 seconds from launch to land, given that it's most of the shit's launched from Belgorod, and the border's only about 18 kilometres away from here, from the city centre. So yeah, it always 30 seconds from launch to land. There's not a whole hell of a lot of that a babushka on the 5th floor of an apartment block can do. It's not like you get into the Bombers Hovisha or Bombu Bedicha in this neck of the woods, in Kharkovsky or Donbassky, known and loathed as Ruski elsewhere. There's not much that you can do, you know what I mean? When there's such a short time frame between launch and land. So it's always slightly strange when there's a air raid alert and, you know, people react. But here we are. Anyway, Old Hemingway's, the bar. I don't know why there are bars named after Hemingway and not George Orwell. Hemingway was a thoroughly inferior figure, but yeah, anyway, at least you can order a certain cocktail there, which can no longer be named by its old name for obvious reasons, you know. So they call it a Big Lebowski, which I think is a nice compromise. So I'm going to go to Old Hems across Maidan Konstitutsy and order a Big Lebowski. And yes, as you might have surmised, it's got Kahlua and milk and Haryilka in it. We don't use the V word around here, it's always Haryilka too. Veteran. So yeah, I mean, We're in Maidan Constitution and there's not a soul in sight. On New Year's Eve it's astonishing. Even by the end of September it was getting chilly, but you know, right up until the evenings there'd be scores of kids here skateboarding and stuff, and between 30 and 50 people outside the Cherry Bar, but yeah. Ah well. I'm still glad to be here. I'll see Francis later, who I'm staying with, the gentleman, Quebecois Francis. There being two Canada Francises, or Francis. No, that's a name in its own right, so it can't be pluralised Francis. There are two Canadian Francises, one of them being Quebecois, French-Canadian, who set the World Central Kitchen up last year, or, well actually it's 2024 and half the world by now, so I should say back in 2022, a couple of months before I was put in touch with him when I came out here, early September, maybe late August, he'd set the world, September, because it had been early September coinciding with the start of the Kharkiv counter-offensive, if memory serves. Oh, would you believe it? I think Old Hems Bar is closed as well. I mean, it's disguised as an Irish pub anyway, and it's not. But this is incredible. Nothing's open. Fuck me. I've walked all the way to town and... wow, okay. Well, I shall head on home, or back to Francis's home. Maybe I'll circle around this way. You can scope the decorative tank at the northern end of Maidan Constitution. Is that an advert for the... Yeah, it is for Tretia Sturmover Brigade. So a Tretia Okrema Sturmover Brigade, which, well, as fate would have it, I briefly joined and then mercifully enough segued to the International Legion proper. Although I'm a week out from Sloviansk Liman, so I'm glad I've got this week in between transferring over from the 4th to the 2nd Battalion. Having briefly flirted with the 1st Battalion too, and given a 1st Battalion patch, about to join my brother from the 1st Battalion, Victor, aka Judah. Yes, the Jewish Brazilian man, recently featured on Tracker Nazi Merc. How laughable is that? I mean, I gave him an SS Galicia arm patch as a joke in response to his. He gave me a Brazil patch and a 1st Battalion Legion patch, because now he's 2nd Battalion. I think I'll still wear his patch, to be honest. Keep the 2nd bat patches in reserve. I mean, we're fighting in Serebrianka Forest, nearly man. It's a hellish, desperate defensive dogfight, so what's it matter if I wear a 1st Battalion patch? But yeah, I was going to go join my friend, Rip, squad leader in 1st Battalion Alpha 1, and he's injured. And he broke contract. He's going to recover back in Switzerland, so he's not even there. And retardedly enough, I might have to leave here and return to pretty much the Polish border just to sign a contract, collect my armour plates that are left there, or I can source some here or get them sent here. But I might have to go all the way back there just to pick up winter gear and sign a contract, even though all that shit is in Sloviansk, and that's where we're based. That's where the 2nd Battalion is. It's where the 2nd Bat is fighting, and yeah, these are strange days to be alive. What can I say? There's no rhyme or reason to some of this. Well, and there's no sign of life in the city centre either. So I'm gonna head on and just go to the petrol garage and pick up some some beer and see if they have some Baileys. Head back to Pushkinska. Don't think there's even anything available to eat around these parts. I'm amazed, but well, perhaps I shouldn't be. It might be a selfish urge and instinct after 45 missiles a couple of nights back. And last year, obviously, I was in Kyiv for the then record-breaking and debut. No, it might have been the second, but it was essentially the debut, the introduction of the Shahed kamikaze drones from Iran. And yeah, I should probably just wear my multicam coat on the outside. I can't buy alcohol. None of the bars are open anyway, so I can. And the olive green jacket is actually a American foolhardiness, because Ollie thought OD green is it's been the colour of the separatists for 10 years, and large parts of the Russian army. Whereas multicam is the camo of choice for practically all foreign soldiers, all legionnaires here. Legionnaires including all those wise enough to be in Ukrainian units rather than the Legion. Oh, 2nd Battalion. Wow. It's going to be interesting. Well, it's strange. It's reminiscent of last year. In between the two major kamikaze drone raids that there were last New Year's, there was a sort of lull when the skies darkened at 5 p.m-ish. Nothing really happened until 11, and I walked around the city, like a 17-kilometre ruck in total, until I got to my Amiga's house, who was descended from the Romanovs actually, and she only started speaking